T is here, and welcome back, everyone. Now, how many of you small business owners are overwhelmed with work? It just seems like you never have enough time. It's always a lot on our plates. But I want to ask you a question. What excuses are you making on why you have not delegated certain tasks? Is it because if you give it to someone else, you feel you cannot trust them enough to get it done? Are you telling yourself it's easier if I just do it myself? And the excuse is maybe it would just take me longer to explain it than it will if I just do it and get it done. Well, I hate to admit it. In the past, these were some of my excuses as well. But as a business owner, and as your business grows, as your business progresses, you're going to feel the pain of being overworked, and you're going to feel stressed, and you're going to be spread thin, and it will eventually, if it has not already happened this far, start showing the quality of your life, and it'll start showing in the quality of your work. Now, a few years back, I can say that I experienced some burnout, which is one of the dangers of not delegating. And then eventually it started having an effect on my health. And before I hit that brick wall of burnout, I was working late evening hours up until the wee hours of the morning, working weekends. And I always feel that I just needed to catch up. But what I found is just doing nothing about it led to more negative results, not just in my health, but I was finding myself missing sales opportunities. The quality of service was diminishing because I just couldn't do it all and keep up with it all by myself. And a lot of us, including myself, we all started out solo, and we're all wearing all these hats to try to get it done. And in business, we have several different functions to run a business. You have your marketing, and then you have human resources, you have your sales, you have customer service, and then you're trying to deliver your service or deliver your product. But you don't have to wear all those hats to make a successful business. In fact, wearing all of those hats will lead to the exact opposite. It may lead to what I experienced, burnout for one, not growing your business, being stagnant, or just going out of business altogether. But on the flip side of things, if we start taking control by learning to delegate tasks, that can be or make our lives a lot easier. So, deciding when and to whom to delegate responsibilities require a thoughtful preparation. So Ray and I will guide you through a process in these video series that will ensure you have a successful outcome and start focusing on leading your business to success. And in this video series, and which is our first video series, Ray and I will be discussing further why it's so important to delegate. Yes, at the beginning, it's going to be very painful to lose control or to give control. And it's time consuming to teach others to get it right, and maybe even costly to get started, but it is definitely worth it. So now, entrepreneurs, let's figure out why it's so important to delegate. Are you ready to get started? I'm ready to get started. Let's get started, Ray.
A little bit of progress can lead to a lot of pain if you try to hold on to all of the elements of your business. and not let go, and bring other people into the picture so you can delegate some tasks, lighten your load, take off some of your hats and put them on other worthy recipients. And on the flip side of that, a little bit of pain can lead to a lot of progress. And there's no doubt that it's a little bit painful to delegate tasks in a couple ways. One, it's hard to let go. We tend to think we're the best at the job, which maybe we are. But it's also a little bit of difficulty to trust other people to get things done. So this is where you got to take that leap of faith. Share your tasks with other people, share the burden, take the time to teach them, spend the money, and you're going to see a lot of progress in your business.
And as you grow, you are burning what they say, the candlestick at both ends.
Yeah.
And it gets your hours get longer and longer and longer. And pretty soon you waking up at 5 a.m. and you're not going to bed till like 1 or 2 o'clock a.m. And you're actually working around the clock because of the different many hats that you're dealing with. And if you don't get that under control, you will burn out. And you will run into a brick wall. And that is the worst thing that you could ever, ever experience as a business owner, because it's hard to get back into the groove of things. It comes with sickness. It comes with, family interruptions. You can't spend time with your family. You can't spend time with your friends. You're exhausted. And that's not what we ended up in business for. So being able to realize that, okay, here I am right now. The best thing for me to do is to start delegating, because that is a big pain point. We didn't get into business to work around the clock. We got into business for certain things, for freedom, for building wealth, for being able to go on vacation with our family, to be able to spend more time with our friends and family. We didn't get into business to work around the clock. So delegating would help actually to give you more time, give you more freedom, get you back to your goals, and also efficiencies of your business. If you're working around the clock, things get messed up, things you forget. So if you are delegating, at least you have other people that are now responsible for it, and you're not actually having to do it. So it frees up your time, free up your mind space. It also frees you up from any health issues, and spending more time with your family, which is more important, the most important thing.
Yeah, you touch on a lot of different, I guess, like symptoms of being overworked or experiencing that burnout because you're not delegating tasks well. And you said burnout's a real thing. And when I was looking up some topics on this discussion that we're going to have, the World Health Organization recognizes it as an actual health problem. So it's real. It's a real medical issue, a workplace medical issue. And I'll tell you, I've hit burnout a couple times in my life, probably more than a couple. I got it when I was getting my MBA. I actually got it when I was getting my bachelor degree, when I was getting my MBA, a few times in my career, just because of the progress I was trying to achieve. And what it does is it's almost like, if I look back on it, I've never been an individual that suffered with like depression, but it's almost like you become depressed. You lose your heart for what you're doing, which amplifies the issue, because then it becomes harder to do the things that you need to do. You already have too many, but since your heart's not in it, then it becomes even harder to do. So yeah, you do get negative results. And I've noticed that those times I've been the type of person that does really, really well and then sometimes falls really hard. And I did it in school, and I've done it in my career a couple times, and I've learned from it. And it'll be times where I start getting really bad results and being really unhappy. And like you said, even socially and within my own family, I've become kind of a negative influence versus the typical ray of sunshine that I can be, and upbeat and positive. So it's a real thing, the burnout. And when we talk about the pain of progress, that's one of the pain points is you start to hit progress, which is what you want in your business. And then you start feeling that real pain of being overworked and overburdened. So there's a lot of negative things that you see right now, and burnout's one of them. Bad results, not having that love for what you're doing, which you don't have to love what you're doing all the time, but it's really hard when you really start to hate it because of all those things that you've built up. You start your business and end up wearing too many hats as it progresses, and you start feeling the pain. And if that's where you're at, your solution to that pain, your medicine, is to start to delegate and get the right people wearing the right hats.
What happens if you do nothing? Um, of course, you can burn out, like we talked about earlier, which burnout is real if you continue to do things around the clock and work around the clock and juggle multiple things for long periods of times. It also can stunt your growth. Um, you see yourself growing, vision, your vision is growing to a certain state in your business, but you can't get there. You're going to be stuck, um, because you don't have enough people or enough staff to actually consume enough production or enough service to get things done. You're only one person and you only could do so much. So if you overworked, if you stressed, it's gonna show, because um, you're going to either get burnt out, or you're going to get stuck on growing your business, or you're going to be losing profits. And the reason why you're going to be losing profits is because you're absolutely burning the candles at both ends by working around the clock. You're making mistakes now because you're tired. You get it making errors with customers. Um, and your customers not getting happy, or not being happy, because you're not able to produce the quality that you once had, or absolutely need at this particular time. So if you do nothing, then it's possible that you can go out of business.
Yeah, it's a bit of a vicious cycle, right? Because that you get this burnout, this stress, this overworked, and then your business results start to become not as good as you want them to be. So you start feeling bad because you're not, meeting the goals and the vision that you set for yourself. So now you start feeling a little bit worse, and your quality goes down even more. And that's a real thing. That's a real cycle that people get into. But I like that you pointed out the bigger part of this. Yeah, we feel the stress, we feel the overworked, burnt out feelings, but the biggest part of it is this missed opportunity. If you don't have the right people in the right places, you're missing a ton of opportunity. And you can see that because you can look at the successful businesses that are out there, or even people for that matter. The successes out there, they have people in the right positions. And it doesn't matter if you're not a huge company right now, but you got to believe any of your experience and any of your exposure has showed you that the CEO of the company is not, for very good reason, the one that sweeps the floors. I've heard stories of how noble it is that the CEO will come in and sweep the floors, and that's great. But if they're spending 8 hours a day doing that, wow, the missed opportunity, because they're supposed to be the thinkers, the strategizers. You can backfill those positions as you move along with people that are coming up in their careers and learning and wanting to, so there's nothing negative about saying, oh, I'm above being the administrative assistant and doing those tasks. No, it's that, it's time for somebody else to step into that and start learning the business and growing while you move on to the bigger things. So I think people have sometimes had a problem delegating because they feel like, well, I don't want to look like I'm above those tasks. Well, you are at this point in your career. You should be if you're running a business, a good one. And it's time for somebody else to step in and do those. So the missed opportunity that you hit on there is the bigger thing I think we're going to focus on as we go through this series, because there's so much opportunity your business can take and, you know, take advantage of if you get the right people wearing the right hats. Number one being you wearing the right hat. So yeah, doing nothing is not going to lead to the positive results that you'd like. You're going to feel a lot of the negative symptoms, and you're going to miss out on a lot of the things that you had dreamed about, you know, capturing in your vision of your business.
And I know that you had mentioned that a lot of us as business owners, we don't want to think that we're above that. But a lot of times we also think that we want to just save a little bit of money. Um, and
Yes.
we think it's cheaper it's cheaper for me to just to do it, and it's much faster for me to do it. But I did find, and I did read that, and it has proven, because I have done it in my business as well, is that each person that you hire for a particular position, you will see your business grow about $30,000 to $40,000 a year.
Hmm.
And I found that very interesting, because every time I would hire a person, I could see it on my profit and loss growth. So we have been working on goals and budgeting all year. And as a business owner, if that is one of your goals, to be profitable and to grow, then this is the best series for you, because by delegating, you will find, we would think that it would make our profit and loss worse. But by having a person in place to free up your mind to do that particular job, to help you grow, will grow your business at least $20,000 or $40,000 a year.
I mean, you just look at some of these tasks and you think, what can I replace somebody to answer the phone for so I don't have to? Say I spend an hour a day on the phone, but I could, you know, pay somebody for an hour to answer the phone, $15 an hour, right? And just think about all the hours you spend on the phone. What are you worth? Are you worth $15 an hour? Are you worth 200, 500? You know, what is your worth? Because every hour that you spend doing something that you could have paid somebody less to do, you're losing money. And we get into this later, but on the flip side of that, if you're spending 5 hours doing something that you could have paid somebody, you know, a certain amount to do, and they could have done it in one, because they're good at it, they're professionals at it, they have a system in place to do it, you know, the economies of scale, whatever it is. Again, you're losing money because you're spending too much time doing something that you could have paid somebody else to do. So that mindset of being cheap, for lack of a more sophisticated word, you know, the more sophisticated word for cheap, there is one. It's called parsimonious. I know the cheap words because when I was in high school, people called me cheap all the time. I was always the cheap guy.
I would have used frugal.
Frugal. There you go. Frugal might be the good way to put this. So if you're a frugal business owner, you got to look at both sides of the equation here. Yeah, you're saving, you know, $15 an hour because you're not paying somebody, but what are you losing by not having your time to go pursue higher dollar opportunities? So being frugal a lot of times does definitely lead to, you know, spending more money wastefully or less efficiently or whatever it may be.
I like that, Ray. Um,
I'm sorry, could you say that over? That I like that, Ray?
I
I was
like
taking a
that,
drink.
Ray. I like that, Ray. The biggest challenge with business owners, and me included, is letting go of control. It is every day I practice delegating. If and I don't know, it's just something that you have to, if it's not already in as a habit for you, you have to make yourself every day get into a habit of delegating, because if you find yourself huddling that task, or I'm the only one that can do that right, or I'm the only one that can do this, you'll find yourself stuck again. So being able to open yourself up, creating new habits of delegating is so important to grow your business and eliminating some of that control.
And that's really where we want to go with this series, is help people in a couple of ways. Give them a process to work through so that you feel a little more comfortable, and allow you to just start thinking through some of the elements of, why am I holding on to all this, or what is it that I'm doing? Because sometimes we don't even realize how much we're doing, and then start to just look at it through a different lens, so you can analyze it first of all, to say, this is all the stuff that goes into my day that maybe I don't need all that stuff. Why am I holding on to it? Who could take it? If we can get individuals to look through that and start to lighten their load a little bit, I have no doubt we're going to lead them to a more successful future. And that's what we hope to gain by presenting this topic, is to get people to open up to the tasks that they could be delegating, and how much of an opportunity that'll open up for their business. As well as, I personally really don't like seeing people burnt out. I don't like seeing people not succeeding. It's just something about me. When I see that, I usually can see it in somebody, and I want to help them. It's part of my nature. It's like, hey, what are you doing right now? And put my problem solving hat on and try to help solve that problem for them. And I feel like this is what we're doing, is helping people solve that problem that we know is prevalent, because I've felt it, you felt it. I can't think of many people that I've come across that haven't complained about one of these symptoms. So that's going to be an exciting outcome of this, I hope.
Most definitely. It's going to change people's lives. It's going to change. It's going to be night and day with their business. If they can learn to start delegating, learn to create a new habit of delegating, it will be night and day in their business.
Yeah, I agree, because to even just sum up some of the negative symptoms that people feel, it's the stress, it's the burnout, the overworked, lack of sleep, lack of time. Like you said very well, this is not why you went into business. You didn't wake up one day and say, hey, I can't wait to be just stressed out, overworked, have no time for anything, family or otherwise, stay up really late, get up really early. Man, this is going to be great. I can't wait to do that. I don't think so. You saw something that was pretty exciting, probably just the opposite of that: less stress, less work, less, being tied to your desk or your office or whatever it is. So those are the things that that is the pain of progress. And if you hold on to that, you're going to see a lot of pain and little progress. If you can learn some of these techniques of delegating the tasks that you shouldn't be doing anymore as a business owner, taking the hats off that you should no longer be wearing, you're going to see progress, and you're going to see it in profit. You're going to see it in more time, less stress, more ability to sit back and actually strategize over where your business should be going next, versus, I got to get this next task done. I got to read all my 900 emails. I got to respond to everybody. That's probably what you're up at night doing, responding to emails. Fired them off at 2 a.m.
And sometimes that's not the best thing to do. Delegation is probably the hardest thing as a business owner that we can tackle. But I'm so glad that this is one of maybe the first video series after goals and budgeting that we tackle. Just because I wish that I had, as a business owner, thought about delegating more sooner in my business. I've been in business for over 11 years now. And I was the sole person for many, many years, doing it all by myself. So once I gave into delegating and came into this habit of starting to delegate, it opened and expanded my business to a point that I saw my goals and my objectives being met for the very first time. That I can see it being obtainable now. Where at a few years back, I was just growing at this, I thought of turtle pace. And it was just because I was just wearing so many different hats, I only had so much capacity to do. But as I started giving things to other people, my business started expanding. My business started growing. So I just think delegating is so much better to start at the beginning than to wait to the end to figure it, or wait later in business to figure it out. But if you're in business later and figuring it out, it's better now to start now than wait later. So let's start delegating.
Let's do it.